Okay, so I'm going to show you how to fillet a kokanee. I've been asked by many people to show how I do this. And first step, you need two knives. You need a fillet knife. I prefer a Cutco, but any high quality knife will work. You also need a heavy duty, some type of butcher's knife for all your down cuts, and I'll show you in just a moment. The next thing you need is a fish, of course. I have some kokanee that I caught up at Odell Lake. Lucky me. So I'm going to show you how to fillet the kokanee. What I do is I do it the exact same way every time. This will help you. I always start with my fish facing this direction towards me. You can do it the other way, but doing it the exact same way every time will help you in your filleting. First step is to remove the head. So I'm going to do that. And you can discard that. Unless you enjoy eating it, I don't. Next step, you take your fillet knife and you start just above the backbone, which is right here. Now you'll notice what I'm doing with my fillet knife is I'm putting a little bit of down pressure towards the backbone. So there's going to be a little bit of down pressure this way. And I'm also going to have a slight angle on my knife, but not too much angle because you don't want to cut through the backbone. That'll ruin your fillet. So just a slight angle and a slight bit of down pressure on this. I use my fingers to lift up the rib bone, start my incision here, and start making my cuts. I also use my fingers to put a little bit of pressure on the fish, and then once I get past the backbone, I flatten my hand out to get the maximum amount of meat off the fillet. So there's your first fillet. Then what I do is I flip the fish over and do the same thing on the other side, except for this time I'm going to be putting back pressure this way on the knife instead of this way. So anywhere towards this rib cage is where you want a little bit of pressure, and still the same down angle. Same technique. Once you get past the rib bones, use a little bit of down pressure to maximize the amount of meat that you get off of your fillet. There's your second fillet. As you can see, there's hardly anything on the rib bone. You can also discard that. Then I start with one fillet at a time. This one is difficult for right-handed people. This one will be easier for the right-handed people. So if you're left-handed, this will be an easier fillet to do. For me, this is a little bit more difficult. But what you want to do is you want to take your knife and slowly work the rib bones and fat up to the belly fat. And I do this by doing a small sawing motion all the way up, and then when I get to the belly fat, I do a little flip with the fillet knife up to that. There's also a small fin that I leave on the fish. I make a small incision there so that you can see it, and I'll show you why in just a second. Keep working all of the fat and the bones to the belly fat. Once you have done that, I stop, take your butcher's knife, and you start by cutting off the belly fat and all the ribs. You also need to make the incision around that fin that is still there up to the top. If you want to, you can make a little fancy cut here, not removing much meat, but it makes the fillet look a little bit better. You can also clean the fillet up by removing the skin off the top part of the fillet. And if you were using your fillet knife, this would seriously dull it. So that's why I use a second knife. As you can see, there's hardly any meat that was removed. It's basically fat, rib bone, and that fin. You can disregard that. Then what I do is I rinse my fillet. And I also rinse my knife. The reason I do that is because you'll have some skin and fat on here which will impede your cutting action. So I will going to rinse that as well. Now I have a clean knife. Do the same thing with the other side. This is a lot easier for me because I'm right-handed. You have the first part of the incision with you instead of against you. Do the same thing, working the rib bones to the belly fat. Again, make the small incision here, and you can see if you incision it, it exposes that last fin that I've left from the process. I also do all my gutting and scaling usually at a cleaning station, and so when I get to the house, all I have to do is fillet. Once that's done, take your knife, a little down cut, just so it's even, small belly cut around the fin, down to the part. And there is your fillet. Again, rinse it, and rinse your knife, and you're ready for your second fish. Now, people are going to say that, yes, I can do this because I'm using an extremely large fish. This is not a big fish. This fish was probably only about 12 inches, but I'm going to show you that you can also do this with a smaller fish. I hooked a smaller fish too bad to be able to release it. It's much smaller, as you can tell, but I'm going to show you that this can be done just as easy with a small fish as it can with a large fish. Same thing, down cut, head removed. A little bit of down pressure all the way across. First fillet, same thing, down pressure towards me. Keep your hand. Second fillet. You can see hardly anything left on that. This is the difficult one for me because I'm right-handed. Again, all of the rib bones to the belly fat, expose the fin. And then, usually on a smaller fish, you'll have a little bit of excess skin, which you can remove very easily by using your other knife. Again, if you used your fillet knife, you would have it extremely dull. Disregard that. Same thing on the other side. Cut. Last fin. Basically done. Rinse them off, rinse your knife. If you have a really good knife, another thing you can do with your fillets, which is really nice, is you can skin them with them. And I'm going to show you that I'm skinning them the opposite direction that you're supposed to. Normally what you want to do if you want to take the skin off of a fillet, and actually I'll show you with a smaller one, is you would want to go against the grain, which would be from the head section down. I'm going to show you doing it the other direction. What I do here, make your small cut with the tip part of your knife. Make sure your knife's flat. I usually have my fillet a little further away from me because it's a little bit easier to bend it flat. Keeping a little bit of pressure with my hand, going across, all the way across. And then normally what I do is I cut my fillets in half. They make a nice little section to eat instead of a whole fillet. As you can see, excellent to eat. So hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, you can contact me at kokaneekid@live.com, and hopefully this helps. Thanks, bye.